This is a Polyrhachis ant update video, and firstly, I want to show you my Polyrhachis bakarii, also known as the Golden Polyrhachis ant, or at least the most golden ant I have in my collection. You have probably seen her, the queen, in my previous video from last year, about 7 months ago, when I first laid eyes on this golden ant species. It was perhaps the most sought-after species I wanted for my collection. Patience has paid off, and this is her now, after almost 8 months of keeping her. I had the toughest time, and in the very beginning, it looked bleak. She consumed every egg she laid after only a few days. She kept at it for almost a month, and I was very happy and sad all at once. Thereafter, no eggs were ever laid again, not until I put her in this nest. This nest was from my product line that I carry but was put together with leftover parts. It's not really a properly functioning nest with a few missing parts, but my idea was to see if she will lay again if I give her another setup. She had been in the test tube for almost 4 weeks since her last batch of eggs, which got very dirty from her own waste where she was hanging out. I knew I had to give her a chance. The way she acted by curling up and licking the end of her gaster frequently could be a telltale sign that she might be able to lay her eggs again. Lo and behold, she laid again almost immediately in this setup, and this is her today, my first Polyrhachis bakarii colony to keep. They are still a small colony, but I am looking forward for more workers enclosing soon, judging from the number of pupae she has now. It took a very long time, but it was surely a satisfying accomplishment to get this far. The queen is about 15 millimeters, and the workers are about 10 millimeters long. They are golden in appearance, regardless of which angle I look at them from. There is fine, dense golden hair all over their bodies, which reflects light and gives them a metallic gold color. For those who don't know, the prefix poly means many, and rhachis means thorn, so polyrhachis means several thorn ants, but for bakarii, their thorns are not very evident. Unlike many polyrhachis species, have fishhook-like thorns on their thorax, and the part between the gaster and thorax is called the petiole. Bakarii don't sting, they do not have stingers, but they do attack using formic acid after delivering a bite. I believe they are monomorphic and therefore do not show any other casts or significant variations in size between workers. For a polyrhachis species, bakarii is a rather large ant for its kind, with an imposing appearance. Many of us get this wrong by thinking polyrhachis are all arboreal ants, that they only have habitat on plants and in trees. Bakarii species live in open areas or forest clearings with a tropical climate beneath the ground. Yes, they make burrow nests deep in the soil and with gaping entrances. Fortunately, I found another queen when I was out ant venturing just recently. I chanced upon this queen on the ground, which reflected back her golden shine, and I knew immediately I was going to have another golden polyrhachis colony. Well, that was the idea, but then again, I thought about attempting to add her to my slow-growing colony and seeing if she really is fertile and could boost my colony's growth speed. Since polyrhachis are highly polygenic, meaning they can have many queens in a colony, I am not sure if you can actually add another so late in colony development. So, with the desire to see my bakarii colony reach its peak faster, I decided to add the newfound queen to my colony of golden ants. I am really hoping for the best and nothing bad happens to my new golden girl. Once she is placed in the nest, she immediately traces the pheromone from her kind. She got very excited and knew exactly where to go, and believe me, I have placed many queen ants in this same nest, and they took many days before being able to muster the courage to go into an unknown hole, where the nesting chambers are located. The new queen, being freshly placed in this nest, went straight into the nesting chamber without hesitation after a few sniff-around spins. The reception she got was not very welcoming at first and took the colony by surprise. One worker got so spooked that she grabbed the new queen by her legs and didn't let go, while the others interacted with her. This welcoming party doesn't look too good, but something happened. One of the workers started to feed the new queen, and she was willing to accept trophallaxis, meaning to transfer food from mouth to mouth. This is a good sign to start with. Well, you don't want to feed an intruder or prey, do you? Knowing that they could harm or provide food for the colony. For now, that is all the update I have for you on my Polyrhachis bakarii new queen introduction to this colony. I can assure you that something did happen, and I will update you in my future videos, so do keep an eye out. On the other hand, I have another golden ant colony that I wish to show you. Polyrhachis dives is one of the most common, thorny ants in the wild where I am from, and for sure the most popular polyrhachis in the ant-keeping community. They are also known as the golden weaver ant, which is very active day and night. Polyrhachis dives lives on every corner of my neighborhood. They have been adapting to life in the urban environment very well. It is quite a common sight in our homes here, as they will nest anywhere suitable. They can nest in potted plants, in cracks in the walls, and wherever they can find humidity and darkness. They are not necessarily arboreal, meaning only having habitats on trees. I remembered capturing a colony of them under a stone slate outside my house. Unfortunately, I didn't know how to keep them at the time. I just knew I wanted them, and I was disappointed they didn't survive. I was determined to find a colony through nuptial flights, and I did so many times over when I learned where to look. They will use any material to build their nest, and they build nests everywhere for food, especially on or near fruit trees, where sweet sap secretes. Fruit trees also attract many sweet dew-producing insects such as aphids, and because they depend on them for food, they are very protective over their aphid farm. They are voracious and opportunistic ants. The queen is about 10 to 11 millimeters, and the worker ants are about 7 to 8 millimeters long. The upper part of their body is mainly black with a grayish hue, but the gaster is covered with a golden shine. Though it is not as fully golden as the Polyrhachis bakarii, it is still a very beautiful polyrhachis to have in your collection. They grow extremely fast as well, even in a test tube setup. I found several Polyrhachis dives queens in a nuptial flight lately, and they have all managed to form their own colony. This is how much they have grown after 3 months. Their development from eggs to workers took about 6 weeks. No, I did not put these queens together because of their growth speed. In the wild, they can have super colonies of Polyrhachis dives that are likely to have very large numbers of workers and queens. Although it is difficult to estimate, they could reach a few hundred to several tens of thousands of individuals. Among them, there can be several hundred queens within a colony with multiple satellite nests. You should also know that although this species is monomorphic, they still produce different sizes of workers within the same colony. They are not always easy to tell apart at first glance. This species is very aggressive and attacks anything that moves. They feed in quite impressive quantities. Polyrhachis workers have a rather low life expectancy, which is why the development time of the brood is very fast. A newly hatched larva takes barely 6 days to be able to weave and can thus pupate in the following days. They are particularly fond of using silk from their larvae to weave their nests, hence their given name. The workers make use of the larvae just before they pupate and weave their cocoon. Thus, the workers tie between them pieces of dead leaves, twigs, and dried moss with the silk of the larvae, and the nests therefore resemble balls of cardboard. If you are interested in keeping this species in a naturalistic setup, remember that they weave a nest out of grass, moss, and other materials, and the particles are woven together with the help of the larvae. You should have these materials ready, as well as some form of structure so that they can stick all these building materials together on it. You can tie a few sticks together and ensure that it is stable. Otherwise, a standard ant nest formicarium will suffice, and they will assimilate to any habitat given. There is not one special kind of nest suitable for them, and as long as the ants look happy, they will thrive. Like I said before, I have seen them build their nest around my neighborhood and in places you don't expect them to be. Well, I hope you like this Polyrhachis video content. I will keep you guys updated on their progress in the future, as well as on many other species that I have planned to show you, which are all in the content queue. If you like what you see, please do me a favor and subscribe, it will help keep me going. Thank you for watching the Ants Subang YouTube channel.